everyone. Welcome back to the Spiritual Research Centre here in Hamilton, Ontario.
I'm sorry. But what was with the circle wipe? Of all the stylistic choices you could have been made as a sitting in a hole theist, aka someone who doesn't know how to set up a camera properly to frame themselves, and is totally going to make atheists seem like big, dumb, reality-denying idiots. You just had to use a visual effect that made you look like a goddamn cartoon character. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you look silly, because I didn't. You did that. I just added the appropriate music, unlike you and your intro. Because seriously, what the hell is that? Apart from the fact that I had to lower the volume by like 1 million or so in order to not murder everyone's ears, you used the Windows XP sound. It's almost appropriate, as I'm sure your beliefs have been out of date for many years, and if used to do anything important, will ruin your work and probably give you a fucking virus.
I'm your friendly spiritual researcher, Zachary Strong, and today we are going to be talking.
Talking? That's a new one on me. I never do that, as you can tell from these extremely friendly and not at all salty comments from various videos. And I'm glad to hear you are friendly, because you're going to need to be to counteract how much of a tool I am. Fingers crossed you don't turn out to be a smug idiot or anything like that, or we are going to really have a problem.
About how a thought experiment with two cavemen is causing atheists that I talk to completely lose their minds.
Well, lucky for you, I lost my mind many years ago. I think it might be behind the couch, but then I realised I can't think because no brain. And sure, the atheismos are losing their minds about your super smart thought experiment that will make them go, oh no, goddamn must real or something. I have never heard that one all the fucking time, and it turns out to be really goddamn stupid and clearly something you haven't actually thought about properly or anything like that? No.
To the point of outright denying reality or saying it's irrelevant.
Wow, that does sound quite impressive. I mean, you can get people to say that reality is irrelevant, or are you getting them to say that your thought experiment is irrelevant and are maybe not quite understanding why they're saying that, and thus assuming you the big smart, did a big win and got to wander off to join your friends, the sarcastic rabbit and that duck who keeps reading my fucking mail?
And you might be wondering, how is this possible? Atheists are so logical. Atheists are science-driven.
Oh my god, you can just hear the smug dripping from his lips. Must be quite the mess to clean out of that beard, my dude. Might want to cut that down and save yourself on beard care products. And no, I'm not wondering that. Apart from the fact that I absolutely understand that not all atheists are logical and not all atheists are science-driven. But I mostly don't wonder it because as an internet dumbass who's been doing this for many years now, every single time someone says they have done tricked the atheism into show how dumb they is, what actually happens is the person making such a claim turns out to be, well, not as bright as they think they are, would be the nice way of putting it.
Thought like blah blah blah, right?
Of course, the blah 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 argument that all atheists use all the time, made famous by XX Atheism and Best Ever 69XX, one of the finest minds that atheismo has ever created. He also coined such greats as God doesn't real cause why my pee small and theism am big dumb, so me am big smart. I think we can all agree that we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for this brilliant individual who we all agree with because of how smart we also are.
And so this is how. Basically, if you have a properly ordered mind...
Properly ordered? I already told you I don't even have one of them. In fact, all that free real estate has been repurposed as a water park. But instead of water, and in fact people, it only allows in whiskey. I think it does deserve a good time because of all the stupid it has protected me from over these years.
First, you concern yourself with epistemology, which is how do I know things are true?
A properly ordered mind must consider that first. The fact that you think that you get to say that when I guarantee that most people don't think about that first proves to me that you have no idea how to consider if anything is true because you don't know shit about people. You don't have to think that to have a perfectly finely ordered mind. What you're doing here is some kind of philosophical gatekeeping. But I have never let someone else's gates stop me before, and I won't now. You never know where there might be whiskey.
And then you concern yourself with metaphysics, which is okay, now what is true?
Metaphysics defined as what is true seems a gross oversimplification to me, to the point of just being kind of wrong. It's again a philosophical concept, but it's defined as the branch of philosophy that deals with the first principles of things, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, identity, time, and space. But also simply doesn't dictate whether or not things are actually true. But hey, why let being wrong slow you down?
And then you concern yourself with aesthetics, which is what is important.
Again, if this is an attempt at simplifying the concept, it's just not very good. It's about fucking art more than anything else. So yeah, actually super weird. And I tried to find this list of how this is how me am to do a brain, and it just seems to be something that you made up rather than a hard and fast rule of smart guying. How unusual for one of you guys to decide how everything should work for everyone else. Or they are all the big wrong.
And then once you know what's important, then you can decide on ethics.
What ethics? And again with this shit, I swear the theist hive mind must have recently latched onto ethics as a big win for all of them all the time. I mean, I get it that they always laid claim to morality in general, even though the whole thing has constantly just been homework copying throughout the centuries, but it just seems to be coming up constantly on my channel. Maybe it's just the internet doing its thing and just throwing the same things at you, but again, it is super weird.
Right. However, atheists have this completely messed up.
Right, atheists are not a monolith. There is literally no one type of atheist. The worldviews and beliefs of atheists vary fucking massively. I'm sure there's at least a few out there who would find your little how to do a minding list absolutely fine, but again, plenty of us would not. And others still who have literally no idea what you are talking about. Let me put it this way. If you ever think to say the words atheists do X, and the X doesn't equal not believe in God, then you need to stop talking and thinking. Although at that point, it's kind of clear that you already have.
They do not have epistemology at the top.
Why do you need that? I mean, sure, it's nice to have some sort of reason for why you think the things you believe are true, but even if you don't know why, that's not really going to stop you necessarily. And it certainly wouldn't make you wrong, just because you didn't consider it. I mean, most of this God real / God fake shit lives well within the realms of opinion anyway, so it's not like how good you are at getting epistemalized has much impact on the fact of any of your God does or does not beliefs. So yeah.
Okay, and so what this means is that atheists have very strictly defined epistemological rules.
Says the man who just came out with his very strictly defined rules. It's almost like he's a hypocrite and doesn't know it. I'm right smart, me.
So they have very strict rules about how they want to use their own mind. They have very strict rules about what constitutes knowledge. They have very strict rules about a whole bunch of things.
You clearly have absolutely no idea what the fuck atheism is. You are talking about some kind of worldview that might include atheism, but are apparently not actually smart enough to know what that worldview is or how to define it, other than saying, here's some things I think they believe, all the while smugly pontificating about the things that all atheists must do because you don't actually know what you're talking about. It would be impressive if it wasn't so mind-shatteringly annoying.
And they absolutely lose it when you present them with a simple thought experiment.
And this, I bet even your made-up straw man of an atheist ideology that you can't name, I bet most, if not all people who come even close to fitting into such a concept that you have laid out, would very easily be able to explain how what you are about to say is wrong and dumb, and maybe you should spend more time thinking about the things you're going to say, instead of jumping right into chatting some mad shit about people I doubt you have even met.
That challenges those unquestioned assumptions.
Unquestioned assumptions like, I don't believe God is real because the things I have been presented with have left me unconvinced. Because that's literally the entirety of what an atheist must be. Other than that, you're just making up rules that we must follow because you decided for no reason.
Okay, so here's the thought experiment.
Oh, I am just pissing and shitting with excitement and anticipation that you are going to make me piss and shit with the whole losing my mind deal. And seriously, if you use language like, they're losing their minds, and you are someone who thinks that you should be taken seriously by anyone, well, I have some bad news for you. But do go ahead.
All right, so we have two cavemen. They're completely illiterate. They're not that, cognitively developed, whatever.
Ah, I think I know exactly who you're talking about. It's Kirk and Ray, right? Illiterates who aren't cognitively developed. Yeah, it's definitely those two. And what are those two galaxy intellects up to this time? Doing something stupid, I imagine.
Og and Bog, okay?
Oh, that's not who I thought at all. Oh well, a big oof. That's a little bit of stereotyping of you. That's not cool, man. And anyway, that's the abbreviations of their name. They're called Ogrid and Bogtholomew. Only their friends get to call them by their nicknames, and I think you can call them both Sir.
So Og and Bog are walking along, and then they see an angel.
Oh, damn it. I hate it when that happens. You're just trying to get on with your day and then suddenly, boom, angels appear and you just know they're going to have some bullshit fetch quest for you. And it's always so fucking important. But seriously, nothing is more important than my current quest to get to the arcade and spend 200 monies trying to win a pointless piece of tat out of one of the coin pushers. How else am I supposed to get this worthless piece of shit? Buy it.
Okay. And the thing is, this is like a legit angel, okay? The angel is actually there. The photons of light are bouncing off the angel and entering Og and Bog's eyes.
Okay, so in your hypothetical thought experiment type deal, the angel is real. Okay, not sure what the problem is going to be. Perhaps there's some kind of amazing twist that will really make us all go, oh my god, I never thought of it like that. I am positively tingling with anticipation. Or that might just be that I'm very drunk.
Okay, so they have, an angel experience, whatever, and then the angel goes away.
An angelable experience? Well, at least you are using the technical terminology correctly at last. And it goes away. Okay. Gotta question why it shows up at all, does nothing, and then disappears. Although then again, excluding the showing up and disappearing part, doing nothing does seem to be a common trait of angels, so at least that makes some sense.
Okay, and then it's just Og and Bog again.
Is it just me, or does Oggenboggen sound like the name of a town in some backwater area of the world that's famous, at least locally, for a really disgusting kind of cheese that everyone there swears by, but actually tastes like swamp water and fetid pig anus? Yeah, it probably is just me.
Okay, so the thought experiment is basically, did Og and Bog see what they saw, regardless of however that gets garbled into folklore, however that gets transmitted or not transmitted, or whatever? Did Og and Bog see what they saw?
Yes, if Oggenboggen actually saw an angel, they actually saw an angel. That's like the entire premise of your thought experiment. Do you not know how things happening works? What a bizarre question. And who on earth does that bother? Because there's one really important part to this whole thing. It's that it's a thought experiment, not a fact. It's a story that you made up. And it gets to have whatever rules that you want to apply to it. I don't think this is actually anything, mate. And the only people bothered by it must be sillier than you are. And that's saying something considering.
And this caused atheists to straight up deny their senses.
Senses? Sense of what? You know your story isn't real, right? Just because you said it doesn't make it a fact. In your story, Owen Toboggan saw an angel, and that doesn't change no matter what later people think. Yeah, cool, that's your story, but it doesn't have a point. Not one that can be applied to, anything in the real world.
Because they know, like the ones that I've talked to anyway, know that I'm operating from, a Jewish standpoint, which is 3 million people stood at the foot of a mountain and saw the same thing.
Okay. I had absolutely no idea that you were anything like that. And it makes zero fucking difference. If anything, it kind of proves my point that telling me a story doesn't change whether or not that thing actually happened. I mean, you accuse me of denying my senses, and I am absolutely not doing that. I am denying the senses, and more accurately, the existence of fucking anyone involved in either story. How could you possibly have missed that?
And I think implicitly the atheists that I've talked to realize that they absolutely cannot concede that Og and Bog actually saw something.
Well, the atheists that you talk to who are totally real and people that you had won a fucking mind fight with were clearly freaking morons. The people in your story are in a story. Literally anything can happen in a story, but the thing about most stories is they are made up or embellished. Your argument is essentially, because I could make up a story about two characters, then this other story must be true. And that's frankly one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard. Well done, you must be so very proud.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos. And she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the